Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Olivia Ongere. If you're a subscriber, as always, thank you so much for subscribing and welcome back for yet another interesting video. So today I'm going to do a very different video. Yeah, I'm going to talk about matters periods. I'm going to talk about tampons, and yeah, to the men out there who watch my videos, sorry, but you can share the video with your sister. I'm sure you have a female figure in your life, so you are also covered. You can share the video with your sister, with your cousin, with your girlfriend, with your wife. Yeah, so today I want to talk about matters periods matters. Specifically, I want to talk about tampons, the things you need to know before you purchase that tampon, sis. The things you need to know. Okay, so let's get straight into the video. So the first thing that you need to know about tampons is that there are different brands of tampons, and the ones that I normally see in almost every store in Kenya is the Cortex one and the OB one. So this is the Cortex one, and then this is the OB one. So these two brands are the ones that I see a lot in the Kenyan market, like in most supermarkets. So the first thing that you should know before purchasing a tampon, there are different brands. The other thing that you should know before purchasing a tampon is that they come in different sizes. Yeah, that is one thing that you should know about tampons. They come in different sizes. So we have mini, we have super, and we have the normal. So with the Cortex one, the mini, I don't know if you guys can see, the mini has 2 dots, and then the super has 4 dots, and then the normal has 3 dots. But most of them, the sizes are normally in the same, the sizes are normally the same wordings, the same description, so that should not be an issue to you if you're using a different brand. So the size of the tampon really matters a lot depending with your flow. So as I've told you, we have mini for a very light flow. You can use mini in the days that your period is, if you are finishing your period, the last day of your period. And then we have normal that has 3 dots, mini has 2 dots, normal has 3 dots, and then super has 4 dots. Yes, so that is the other thing that you should know before purchasing a tampon, is that they come in different sizes. So the other thing that you should know before purchasing a tampon is that you are supposed to use different sizes according to your flow. So if your flow is heavy, definitely you're supposed to use super. If your flow is quite light, you're supposed to use mini. Sorry, if your flow is quite light, you're supposed to use mini. And then if you have a normal flow, not so heavy flow, not so light flow, your flow is just normal, you just use the normal tampon. Okay guys, okay, I hope you're learning something. And then the other thing that you should know is that you're supposed to wash your hands before and after using a tampon. Let me repeat that. You should wash your hands before and after with soap. So you should wash your hands before inserting a tampon, and then you should also wash your hands after inserting a tampon with soap. You should wash your hands before and after insertion of a tampon with soap. So that is the other thing that you should know before using a tampon. Yeah, so the next thing that you should know about tampon is you should know, before you go out there to buy a tampon, you should know how to insert it. So that is the tricky part about using a tampon. You should know how to insert the damn thing. You should know how to insert a tampon. So if you don't know, don't worry. The internet is there, Google is there, Dr. Google is there, it got you covered. So just go Google how to insert a tampon, and you'll be guided on how to insert a tampon. But even the tampons themselves, they normally have a description. The OB one has this kind of thing, so there is a place where you can read here. So this is a description. So this is basically it just describes to you how you should wear your tampon. So this is a description with pictures, and if you want more description, you can also go to YouTube. I think there are several videos on how to insert a tampon. The Cortex one has this. So I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, so this is the diagram that shows you how to insert a tampon. So that is the very tricky part about using a tampon. You should know how to insert a tampon before using a tampon or before purchasing a tampon. The other thing, or that is more of a trick that you should maybe use or not, depending on you. I'm not forcing it on you. So the other trick, if it's your first time, I will prefer you use a panty liner. Yeah, I will prefer you use a panty liner. Even if it's not your first time, I'll just prefer you use a panty liner all throughout, so that in case of a leakage, you don't soil yourself, sis. In case of a leakage, you don't soil yourself. So that is the other thing. I think it's more of a trick. Always wear your tampon with a panty liner. And then the other thing, you should not overstay with your tampon. That is not even only about tampon. Generally, you should not stay with if you're using a tampon or a sanitary towel, you should not overstay with your tampon. What is it called? The paper found inside the tampon, it's written you should stay with your tampon 4 to 8 hours. But I would prefer, if it's your first day, if it's the first day of your period tend to be very heavy, so I'll prefer you just change. If it's the first day, just change it maximum 2 hours or even 3 hours, depending on how heavy your flow is. Just don't overstay with your tampon. You're not supposed to overstay with your tampon. That even applies to sanitary towels. So not only tampons, you should not overstay with your tampon. 4 to 8 hours, that is what is written. But on your first day and second day, 4 hours is a lot. So just go for 2 to 3 hours. And then the other thing that I normally do, for your first and second day, I will prefer you use the super, because the super is, the absorbency level is much higher than the other ones. So the first and second day, your period tend to be heavy, so I'll prefer you use super. And then on the third day, I'll prefer you use normal. The fourth day, or even the fifth day. Yeah, the fifth day, there are those who go for 5 days. Anyway, so for the first and second day, I'll prefer you use super, and then the third, fourth, fifth day, I'll prefer you just use the normal, because then your period is not that heavy. Are we together up to there? I hope you are getting something out of this. And then the other thing that you should know before purchasing a tampon, so you don't unwrap your tampon from this point here, or this angle here, or this point here. So you just do this. You use the arrows here. So you just do this. So that way you will have unwrapped your tampon properly. So even the OB one has an arrow. For the disposal part, you should dispose your tampons in the disposal bins. Just remove your tampon and then wrap it well with a tissue paper, and then you dispose it in the disposal bins that are normally in the toilet. If you're in a place where there are no disposal bins, just wrap it nicely and then carry it in your bag until you can find somewhere where you can dispose your tampon nicely. Do not flush your tampons. Tampons are not supposed to be flushed, so do not flush your tampons in the toilet. Even sanitary towels are not supposed to be flushed, sis. So do not flush your tampon. And then I went ahead and googled the most asked questions when it comes to using tampons. So I'm going to read them out for you and then answer if I can. So here are the most common questions and concerns about using tampons. So the first question is, can tampons be used for the first period? Wow, that is a tricky part, and that only depends with an individual. If you're comfortable using it for your first time, and also if it's your first time, your first period, most probably you're scared, you're still not sure of what to use. So I'll just answer that with, use what is more convenient for you, what is most comfortable for you. So if it's your first period, just use what is more comfortable for you. And then the second question is, how often do I need to change my tampon? On the tampon, it's written 4 to 8 hours, but that is quite a lot. It all depends with your flow, guys. It all depends with your flow. So guys, the other question that is more often asked about tampons is, can a tampon fall out? No, no, no. If you insert the tampon correctly, there are no chances that it's going to fall out. So that is a no, unless you insert it the wrong way. But a tampon cannot fall out, especially if you have inserted it the right way. No, no. And then what type of tampon is the best? So this one, it all depends with you. You're the one to choose the brand that you want to use. So this one, it is an individual decision, so it all depends with you. The brand that may work for you may not work for me. So the brand to use, it all depends with you. And then how does a tampon work? That one you just Google, or you use the descriptions inside the tampon. They have a description. It's written the pros and cons of using a tampon, how you should insert a tampon. Everything you need to know about tampons is in the description. By description, I mean these leaflets that you find inside the tampon. This one you find inside the cortex one, and then this one you find inside the OB one. So everything you need to know about a tampon, you'll find it in the description on these papers that you find inside the tampon. So you should ensure you read these descriptions first before you use a tampon, especially if it's your first time. Just go through this. Use Google. Dr. Google is the best. Use videos as this one also, which might be helpful to you. So just go to YouTube, Google, go to YouTube, find videos as this one here that will help you, especially if it's your first time using a tampon. And then the other most common asked question about tampons is that, am I allowed to sleep with my tampon? So on the paper, it's not written whether it's bad or good to sleep with a tampon, provided first of all, you're not supposed to stay with a tampon for more than 8 hours. So if you're going to sleep for 8 hours, you can sleep with your tampon. If you're going to sleep for more than 8 hours, I'd prefer you use a sanitary towels, but also that depends with you. So just before you go to bed, just change into a new one. Just change the tampon that you had before. Just make sure you change before you go to bed, and then you can sleep with your tampon. Sleeping with it is not bad, provided you don't stay with your tampon for more than 8 hours. So change your tampon depending on your flow again. Or if you don't want to wake up at night, you can just sleep with your sanitary towels and then you use your tampon during the day. But if you're going to sleep for 8 hours, you can sleep with your tampon. That is not an issue. It's written 4 to 8 hours. That is the maximum period that you should stay with your tampon. The other thing that I saw people Google about tampons is that, does a tampon hurt during insertion or when taking it out? That is no. When you insert it the right way, it does not hurt. So inserting a tampon does not hurt, neither does removing a tampon hurt. So a tampon does not hurt during insertion or removal, provided you use it the right way, you insert it the right way, and then you remove it the right way as it's supposed to be. It won't hurt. So it does not hurt. The other thing that I saw being asked about tampons mostly is when you go to the washroom, that how will you go to the washroom? the same passage that your pee come out from is not the same passage that your flow comes out from. So there are two different passages. So yes, I hope that answers the question. If you did biology in school, you know that there are two different passages. So when you go to the washroom to pee, you'll just pee normally because there are different passages. The passage that your flow comes out from, the passage that your flow comes out from is not the passage that your pee comes out from. Are we together? So that should not be an issue. That should not be an issue. Are we together? That should not be an issue. Okay. So the other thing, can I use a tampon while going swimming? That is the other thing that people ask about tampons. Yeah, normally preferred when you're going swimming and you're on your periods, you use tampons. So you can use your you can swim with your tampon on. Just make sure that after you have finished, you remove your tampon and then you insert a new one. So yeah, you can use your tampon while going to swim. And then the other thing, is it normal to never use a tampon? Yeah, it's so normal to never use a tampon. It's so damn normal. Okay, so that's it for today's video. I hope you have learned something. I hope you have learned one or two things from that video. Feel free to share with me other tips that you use while using a tampon. And yeah, see you in my next video. I hope that video was helpful. See you in my next video, guys. Bye. See you.